Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is another episode of Jets Class. Thank you so much for joining us. We have so much to get to. I'm going to lay the blueprint for how the Jets can fix this team for next year. We're also going to talk about a crazy story about when I used to cover Brandon Marshall back in 2015 or 2016 that you are not going to believe. We're going to have Brian Costello rejoin the program and play a little game over at Florham Park. But before we get to any of that, what time is it? It's time for the takeoff. We are getting closer and closer and closer to the date that the Jets have had targeted for a potential Aaron Rodgers return, December 24th at MetLife Stadium against the Commanders. And as we do, the hysteria is building. How can Aaron Rodgers do this? How can the Jets do this to Aaron Rodgers? Don't they understand the risks of this? This is an NFL team. This is Aaron Rodgers who dots every I and crosses every T. Yes, they understand the risk of it, but if Rodgers is willing to take this risk, if the Jets are willing to let Rodgers take this risk, if both parties know that even if he suffers another re-injury to this Achilles, he is still going to come back in 2024, then let him play. What's the worst that can happen? He hurts that Achilles again, right? And if he hurts that Achilles again, then he will rehab it the way that he should have rehabbed it from the beginning instead of trying to rush back for this year. So look, if this is a risk that all parties are willing to take, I would absolutely take it. And guess what? The benefit of it, playoffs, no playoffs, if Rodgers comes back and throws for 300, a couple touchdowns a game, it might ease some concerns that Nathaniel Hackett's offense, it actually works. All right, welcome back to Jets Class. I am Connor Hughes. He is Brian Costello of the New York Post. Jets Class producers basically said, we are going to play a game. Find someone who was around the last time the Jets made the playoffs. That is you, Brian. I don't know what the game is, though, so we're about to find out right now. What is it?
Name every Jets quarterback who has played for the team since the last time they made the playoffs.
Okay.
Go.
Bryce Petty.
Mark Sanchez.
Josh Johnson.
Greg McElroy.
Mike White.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Josh McCown.
Michael Vick.
Oh, really good one.
You said played, right?
Played, right? Okay. Who else has been? Well, Tim Boyle.
Matt Sims.
Good one again, Matt Sims. He was a fan favorite. Sam Darnold.
Geno Smith.
That's a good one too.
There's one obvious one that you're still at.
Zach. Did no one say Zach Wilson?
No, the one said Zach.
Okay, Zach Wilson.
David Fales.
Oh, that's a really good one. Now, Kaz, what we should say before this is Kaz plays these games in the media room. Who is the one person that scored a touchdown in this game? And you have to think back on it. I am, because I have no idea what else is there. I don't know. I'm out.
Trevor Siemian.
Good one.
Luke Falk.
Oh my God. This is hard. This is why I hate this. Oh, Joe Flacco.
There you go.
Yeah.
Flacco. Is there someone left?
How many are we missing?
There's a couple left.
Really?
Tim Tebow count?
Yeah, that's
you didn't really play quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Tim Tebow.
Sanchez back up.
Mark Brunell.
There you go. Mark Brunell. Good one.
He played?
That's pre-me now. I will say a lot of this is pre-Connor.
I don't think he ever. I'll challenge that. I don't think he actually played in 2011. He played in 2010. He did not play in 2011.
I'm out.
Is there anyone left?
Preseason darling.
Preseason.
Boy, that's opening up a lot.
Chris Strebler.
There you go, Chris Strebler. There you go. That's it. So we got one.
What do you say, Achilles?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God, we didn't say Rodgers. Yes. That is a sad list.
Yes.
I would say that is a very, very sad list.
That's a rough list.
Not a great one. It is time for 4 Downs, and 4 Downs is presented by Monmouth University. Explore further at monmouth.edu/amplified. Now, you know how 4 Downs usually works. Basically, I come on here, whether it's good, whether it's bad, I rant about the Jets with 4 quick topics. We're going to switch it up because I'm tired of being so negative. I don't want to just hammer on the current state of this team. I want to focus on how to fix the Jets. So this edition of 4 Downs is actually 4 ways that the Jets can turn this around for 2024. And we are going to start with first way, first down. It all starts up front. It all starts with the offensive line. The Jets need to solidify that group, and I believe that means finding 2 new starting offensive tackles because I do not believe that Mekhi Becton is going to be back with the Jets next year. Interior, I actually like the healthy makeup of the team, and the guys who are playing now for the Jets, they're getting valuable experience where they will be valuable depth pieces next year. But Laken Tomlinson at left guard, he's had a bounce back year, like him there. It's Joe Tippmann, he's going to be this team's center for the next decade. And then Elijah Vera-Tucker, we all know that when he is healthy, he is an all-pro player there. What the Jets need are those guys on the end, and I think what they have to do is pair a veteran that they find in free agency with somebody else that they can get in the draft. Unfortunately, there's no studs available this year on the open market. Tyron Smith probably headlines the group, but his play is a little bit on the decline. Jonah Williams, maybe Austin Jackson. David Bakhtiari is one that I would keep an eye on because of his relationship with Aaron Rodgers. Things seem a little funky over there in Green Bay. I think the Jets should try to find a way to acquire one of them and then use their first-round pick, which seems to be getting better and better and better, on an offensive tackle. That could be Joe Alt from Notre Dame. Also, J.C. Latham from Alabama. There's a number of other guys. We're not going to focus too much on the draft right now. We're going to bring in an expert for that and on a future episode of Can't Wait to break down the Jets' options there in the first, second, third, and every other round of the draft. The Jets have Garrett Wilson. But when the Jets drafted Garrett Wilson, they viewed him as their Cooper Kupp, someone who can have 15, 16, 1,700 receiving yards in a season, 10-plus touchdowns, over 100 catches, but he's going to do the majority of that damage in the slot. He is not an X receiver. So this offseason, the Jets have to go get that true X to complete their offense. Also takes some attention away from Garrett Wilson because all defenses are doing right now are teeing off on them. The name to watch, it's the name that everyone is talking about, is Davante Adams. He's likely going to be made available for the Raiders. The Jets are going to go out there and pursue them. I don't think they should give up a first-round pick because they need that to address their offensive line, but a second, I think that might be worth it. Another name, Mike Evans. If he ever wants to leave Tampa Bay, he is someone who I actually think might be even better than Davante Adams just because of that big, physical, imposing presence. I would actually like to see him work with Aaron Rodgers a little bit more, but worst case, it sure seems like Adams is going to be a member of the Jets, and that would complete their receiving trio because they'd have Xavier Gibson, they would have Garrett Wilson, they would have Davante Adams, and I think they might target a third and fourth receiver in free agency in the draft who bring a speed element to this team. I feel like this is the most obvious one. It's kind of cheap to even spend time talking about it because everyone knows it, but you can't speak about what the Jets have to do next year without centering the discussion around quarterback Aaron Rodgers. They need him to be healthy. They need him to recover from that torn Achilles. They need him on the field because they are a different team with him. You are talking about a player, and I feel like a broken record, but this isn't just a good quarterback. This isn't just a great quarterback. You're talking about an offense that would be run by one of the 5 best to ever do it. So the Jets invested all of their resources to go out there and get him. They're paying him a lot of money to have him. They need him on this team because their offense this year, next year, it will look so different as long as they have number 8.
This one is an important one. I know the Jets are optimistic that Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers in 2024, but the fact is that this is a 40-year-old quarterback coming off a major injury. Father Time catches up to everyone. They need to prepare for the situation that his body might break down a little more, and if that happens, they cannot have happened what happened here in 2023. So go out there and get an established veteran backup. Jacoby Brissett, I like the idea of that. Gardner Minshew, I like the idea of that. Josh Dobbs, like the idea of that. Baker Mayfield, another one that I really like the idea of. Or a wild card, Ryan Tannehill. He's going to be gone from the Titans. The Jets did a ton of work on him this past offseason. He was in their tiered quarterbacks of this guy makes us a Super Bowl contender, this guy makes us one of the best teams in the AFC, this guy makes up a playoff guy. They believe that with Ryan Tannehill and Todd Downing and their playmakers, they could go to the playoffs with Tannehill. He's going to be on the cheap. I don't think too many teams are going to sign him to be a starter at this point in his career. So bring him in, have him be that emergency option. So if Rodgers goes down, they can turn to Tannehill or any of the other guys that I mentioned. That would put them in a better position than they were this year.
So I think dating all the way back to that Jets-Chiefs game this year, there's been a lot of talk about how the refs hate the Jets. The refs were unfair to the Jets. The Jets never get any calls, all that stuff. And generally, I don't buy into all of that. I think that every team gets their fair share of calls. But that topic did get me thinking about one of my favorite player-referee media interactions I've ever covered. And it centers around one of my favorite players that I covered, Brandon Marshall. So there was a little bit of a player beef between Byron Maxwell, the old cornerback for the Miami Dolphins, and Jets receiver Brandon Marshall. And it basically centered around the fact that Brandon Marshall felt that Byron Maxwell held on just about every single play, but he never got called out for holding on any single play. So Brandon used to do one weekly media availability in the locker room, and he would hold court with all of the media and all of the cameras and all the reporters, all that stuff. We'd all gather right in front of him and just ask him questions. And Brandon was our media good guy his 1 year with the Jets. He truly was a great quote, and there was a reason why everyone went to him. So on this particular day, he decided that he was going to use the media basically as a weapon against Byron Maxwell.
This Saturday night, I will be assisting the refs, and I'll be carrying my own flag, just in case he decides to conduct himself the same way.
It was brilliant because it worked. The referees watched Maxwell. The referees flagged Maxwell for holding during the game, and Brandon Marshall, which I'm sure he received a uniform fine for, walked around with his flag, or the towel that he had coming out of his pants. It was yellow. It was great. It was a great storyline. Like I said, so many players hate talking to the media. They hate their availabilities, all that stuff. They don't want us in the locker room. But Brandon realized the mutual benefit that it could have for him to get his message across. And in this case, he didn't like the fact the referees weren't flagging Maxwell. He wanted him to flag Maxwell, so he brought more attention to it. And guess what? The refs flagged Maxwell.
Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of Jets Class. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to watch all previous episodes of Jets Class, because why wouldn't you want to watch all previous episodes of Jets Class? They are available across SNY's digital platforms. That is X, that is Facebook, that is SNY.TV, and that is YouTube. If you are going to watch us on YouTube, make sure you not only subscribe to SNY's channel, but give a little like, give a little comment, give a little thumbs up to all of the Jets Class videos, just so we can spread this to other Jet fans. If you want to catch me and the rest of the Jets pregame live crew before the Jets take on the Falcons this weekend, you can do that on SNY. We're coming your way Sunday at 12 p.m. We will see you there.